Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith and you're watching another What I'm Reading Right Now video here on the channel. This is the series where I talk about what I have been reading, what I'm currently reading, and what I'm going to be reading next. I've got 6 things to talk about since the last time we spoke, so let's get into it. First, I finished The Ruthless Lady's Guide to Wizardry by C.M. Waggoner. This is a book that I had previously read many years ago and I'm rereading for Overbooked. I really enjoyed this. I had a great time, I'm so pleased to say. The first time I read it, I thought it was pretty good, but I found it quite difficult to get into because of the kind of, I guess the voice of it is quite, I don't know what the word is, kind of Thieves' Cant-esque. It's written phonetically in some places and that doesn't always gel with my brain. However, because last week I'd read Bloodhound, go back and watch that video if you're interested, I actually found this very easy to get into and just enjoyed a sapphic historical necromantic romance. It was great. I had a good time. Obviously, I've got a video coming up for this, so I won't dwell for too long, but if you like that kind of cozy yet dark fantasy book, this might work for you. After that, I finished Age of Ash by Daniel Abraham. This was a reread. This is a review copy that was sent to me because I also finished, jumping about in the chronology just a little bit, I also finished Blade of Dream? It's not Blade of Ash. Yes, Blade of Dream. These are the first 2 books in the Kithamar series by Daniel Abraham, which is essentially a fantasy trilogy, I believe, where all the books take place across the same year and the stories kind of intersect and interweave. I reviewed Age of Ash last year and I thought it was pretty okay. It was a solid fantasy book. I wasn't sure that it was completely something that blew me away. And I said that I was interested to see how this interlocking story kind of played out. I think it's very successful. Having now read the second one, while I don't really think they are utterly groundbreaking fantasy narratives, it is really fun reading that second book, especially off the back of the first book, and finding the bits that you remember and the bits that connect up and seeing glimpses of characters from the first book. I thought it was balanced really well in that sense. I will film a video for it and I will tell you all of my thoughts on the first 2 books. But yeah, I'm happy to say that I was correct that it does work better as part of a trilogy rather than a book on its own. And the same can be said for Blade of Dream. Despite the fact that they take place over the same year and they follow the same period of time, I still think you need to read them in publication order, because I think that dramatic irony would be completely lost if you didn't have that. But if you are a person who happens to read Blade of Dream first, please do let me know. After Age of Ash, I finished Home, Habitat, Range, Niche, Territory, which is a Murderbot short story that originally released, I think, before the novel, but I will remember in time to film a video on it. This is just a little 19-page short story that is free on Tor.com. I enjoyed it. I thought it was a nice little addition into the world, getting to see a bit more of people outside of Murderbot. Had a good time with it. Keeping on with that series. Let's jump forward in the chronology again. In that case, I finished the audiobook of Fugitive Telemetry. This took a little bit longer than I wanted it to. Audiobooks just haven't been my priority at the moment. I've been reading a lot of physical books. I really enjoy Fugitive Telemetry. I think it's a fantastic novel. This is the full-length Murderbot novel, and it is fantastic. It's so good. It's a really enjoyable plot. It's a really enjoyable situation for Murderbot to get in. It definitely feels like it still has the same identity as the novellas. It's just spread out more and it allows it to get more into some of the adventure. It almost feels to me like a few of the novellas combined, rather than necessarily feeling like a bigger sprawling story. Had a great time. Nearly ready to film the video on that, got to finish the next one and the one after that first. And the other thing that I finished, I no longer have available to me because I have returned it to the library, but it is The Last Tale of the Flower Bride. This, I wasn't sure if I was going to get to, but I thought, hey, it's in the library, it's on my new releases list, let's see how it goes. And actually, I thought it was really good. It's got some comparisons to Mexican Gothic in there, and I definitely think that's true in the sense of that kind of slightly eerie, haunted mystery story to it. In this, we follow a man who marries a mysterious woman, and their marriage is going okay, and she gets called back to her home that she owns that's slightly spooky, and he starts to try and unravel the mystery of her childhood best friend and what happened to her, much to her chagrin. It's one of those books where it's never 100% clear whether the magic is real or not. It's eerie, it's spooky, it's haunted house, it's It's a whole host of things. I really thought it was well worth reading. I won't say it's, you know, a marvel of the genre and everything is better because I have read it, but I had a really good time. I sat down, I read it all in one sitting. Enjoyable. Would say if you're making TBRs for the kind of Halloween period of time this year, this would be one I would maybe add to it. I should make a Halloween TBR this year. The only thing I'm currently in the middle of is my audiobook reread of The Sword of Kaigen. I'm really enjoying this. I think this is such a fantastic story. Filming an overbooked video on it eventually, but just, oh, so good. Wonderful. Love it. Reading it again, knowing the things that happen, I'm finding it very emotional. I have 3 other things that I want to finish this week. I don't know if it's going to happen just because of scheduling for this weekend. I have a reread of Hench. This is a really fantastic super villain's assistant kind of story, which I'm really looking forward to picking up again. A reread of Unconquerable Sun by Kate Elliott, because my next book coming to me at the library is the sequel. What's it called? Come on, brain. Furious Heaven, that's what it's called. And I'm really looking forward to progressing this series, but I definitely need to do a reread first. And the last thing I will hopefully get to is another library read on my phone. I have The Sunbearer Trials by Aidan Thomas. I talked about wanting to read it in my Cemetery Boys video. It felt like time to try. We shall see how that goes. In terms of my TBR, I have added 2 books since last time we spoke. Both of them are review copies sent to me for free. I have A Power Unbound by Freya Marske, which is the 3rd book in the Marvelous Light series. So we've had A Marvelous Light, A Restless Truth, and now A Power Unbound. I am going to do a reread of all 3 because I regretted not doing one when I read A Restless Truth, and honestly I'm just looking forward to picking them up again. And then, fortuitously, I also have a review copy of System Collapse, which is the next book in the Murderbot series, which means I can add that in to the overbooked video and it will be as complete as humanly possible at the point where that video releases. Yes, go me. These are the things that bring me joy. New releases, I just have one I want to talk about, and that is R.J. Barker's Gods of the Weirdwood. This is the first book in his new series. I'm really looking forward to reading more books in this world. I very much enjoyed book 1. I haven't got a video out for it because I want to do a reread before I do that, so it might come a little bit later. Maybe I'll do it around when book 2 comes out. I have talked about it on Patreon though. Such a good time, really enjoy. If you've not yet read an R.J. Barker trilogy, this might be a great time to start. I would say the theme for my reading at the moment has very much been big books that I haven't reread for a long time, and I'm really actually enjoying it. It's been really interesting seeing how much my ability to take in and retain information has changed in the past sort of 3-4 years, I would say. So going back and reading things like Chronicles of the Bitch Queen, Age of Ash, Unconquerable Sun, which I will get to, it's a completely different reading experience now, and I'm finding that very cool. It feels like I've leveled up, which is always nice. What have you been reading? What have you been up to? Let me know down in the comments below. While you're commenting, if you haven't already, please do subscribe. It makes me feel loved and appreciated. You can also follow me on social media. You can come hang out on Discord where we have chill chats about books. I'd like to say an enormous thank you to all the ghosts who haunt me over on Patreon. They support the channel and in return get early access to videos, bonus content, live streams, and more. If you'd like to join their number, that's linked below as well. Thank you so much for watching. That's all from me, and I will see you in the next one. It's gonna be some bloopers now. Welcome back to Dead Good Book Reviews. I'm Judith, and you're watching... Let me take my watch off. What's happening today? Why are we being like this? Whew. Oh, I can cross that off. Nice. A Power Unbound by Freya Marske. Yes? One day I'll remember book titles, I swear.